So I guess we're ready to finish off our categorical data display section with side-by-side bar graphs. So here we have some information that is fake, but it looks like real stuff. You asked a bunch of students to indicate what reason did they have to come to CSu-Pueblo, because it was small, because it was cheap, because it was high quality, because it was safe, because the weather was great, because my major is present at your institution. So this year, we asked them to fill out the survey, and they can check more than one box. There are 6 boxes. Check the ones that apply to you. Why did you come here? And then last year, this is what happened. And we want to compare the responses from this year and last year graphically. And so one way to do that is to make a bar graph where you put these 2 bars of these 2 sizes above this category. And you can color code it if you want. So I've got it color coded here. The green one was this year. That's not green. How about this? This year. And the pink one last year, like that. And then you can see that, well, among all the categories, most of the time things are very similar, except here in the cost situation. This year costs seem to be a lot more attractive. Well, that's that cost? Oh, cost. Here's the numbers, right? Wasn't that important to as many students last year as it was this year, and safety wasn't as important last year as it was this year. And otherwise, major was maybe more important last year, weather's more important last year, and so on. Now, this does suffer from a problem that comparing the numbers side by side might not be appropriate because we might not have the same number of students. And so what might be better to compare is the fraction of the students that chose each of these categories this year and last year. So that here we just automatically think the ones that are taller are the ones that are more important. But if there's more students this year, then these bars should tend to be taller overall. And so because that one's taller than that one, might just because there were more students, and maybe we had exactly the same way of thinking about small being a good thing this year and last year as far as the students were concerned. So options, use relative frequencies instead. I think that's good. So we'd have to get the totals here and see if they're similar, and then we'd take these and divide by the totals to get percentages and do a relative frequency side-by-side bar graph as a more effective way of comparing how students feel as opposed to comparing how many students feel a certain way. What fraction of the students feel a certain way might be more important. And then down here, just kind of conclusions for the whole section. We said we're working with categorical data. We have to decide if it's parts of a whole or not parts of a whole. That impacts our decision. If it's not parts of a whole, we'll do bar graphs. We'll maybe do Pareto bar graphs. If it is parts of a whole, we can do bar graphs and Pareto bar graphs, but then we also have relative frequency bar graphs and relative frequency Pareto graphs, where we put the relative frequency bars in increasing or decreasing order. And we can also use pie charts, but only for parts of a whole. So that should end our discussion of categorical data displays, and we're moving on to the next section.